Hello, I'm Miss Johnson, and today I'm going to show you one of my favorite hobbies, which is baking. So today we will be baking some brownies. Now for this particular brownie mix, what you will need is 1 egg, some canola oil spray, canola oil, a brownie pan, a spoon, a measuring cup, a giant measuring cup or bowl to mix everything in, an oven mitt, very important. Obviously you will need the brownie mix, and I will also be using scissors. Kids, don't use scissors, let your parents use it. I will need this to cut open the brownie mix so it won't go everywhere. Alright, let's get started. Okay, the first step is to wash your hands. You don't ever want to bake anything with dirty hands. So what I'm going to do, turn the water on warm. I'm going to get some Dial soap, rub it all over, lather it up, make sure your hand has a lot of soap on it. And then you're just going to scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. You want to make sure you get in between your fingers and your fingernails, all on the back of your hand. You just want to make sure that your hands are clean. So after you wash your hands, you're going to want to go ahead and preheat the oven. So what I do is I mash bake, and we need it at 350 degrees, so it's ready. Now I'll click OK, start. So this is where we're starting at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to wait for it to go all the way up to 350. So while we wait for the oven to preheat, we're going to go ahead and start baking. You're going to want to move some things over to the side. So I'm going to move my brownie pan over here. Move my measuring cup to the side for a minute. I'm gonna pull my bowl towards me, move my oil, my spray and everything, move this to the side. All right, so you're gonna take your bowl, put it in front of you. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this pack of brownie mix. Now with brownie mix, there's a lot of powder in here, so it can get very messy. So kids, let your parents do this part. So what I usually do is I will cut a small part of the bag open, put the little trash thing back in the box, and I will pour gently, softly, so it don't spill everywhere, all the mix powder into the bowl. Once all the stuff is poured in, I'm going to shake it a little bit so it's about even in it, put my trash, fold it, and put it in the box so I don't get it everywhere. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take an egg. So I'm gonna open, and we have 2 eggs left, so we only need 1. So get 1 out, put this back over to the side. Now cracking the egg is very simple, but you have to be very careful. So you're gonna crack the side of an egg on the side of your bowl. Do it gently until you hear a little sound of it cracking. You're going to take your fingers on both sides of the egg, put fingers on the back of the egg, and pull apart very carefully. Now that it's open, just pour the egg yolk into the mix. And what I usually do with the shell is I'll put it in the box as well. Now that my hands are messy, I'm probably going to wash them again really quick. Okay, so now that I've washed my hands off again, I'm going to add the canola oil to my mix. So with this particular batch, I'm gonna need 1/3 cup of canola oil. So you need your measuring cup, and on your measuring cup, which will be kind of hard to see in here, but you're gonna look for the line that says 1/3 of a cup. So what I usually do is I'll leave it flat on the table or countertop so I can easily see how much oil I'm putting into it and it stays even. So I'm gonna look down, I'm gonna measure about 1/3 of a cup. So about right there. And as you can see, it's going to come up to this line. All right, so after I've done that, I'm going to pour it into the mix. So you don't want to leave it with just this. You also need to add some water to make it a little more easier to stir. So with this batch, I'm going to need 1/4 of a cup, not 1/3. So instead of going to the line up here, we're going to go down to the line down here. So we're going to need a little bit less water than oil. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pour some water in. When I pour it in, I'm going to flatten the cup out. And as I can see, I have a little bit more water than I need to. So I'm going to pour it out a little bit at a time and then check it. I still have a little more than I need. I'm going to pour it out just a tad bit. And I think that'll be good enough. And we have a little bit of oil still at the top, so it's floating at the top, totally fine. And if you have a little bit more, a little bit less than what you need, it's not going to make a big difference. So I'm going to go ahead and pour all my water in. And that's all we need to put into our batch. So now it's time to stir. It's going to be a little hard to tell on camera, but as you can see, there is a little bit of powder still at the bottom. So when you're mixing, you want to make sure all the powder is mixed in and that it's all soft. So we're going to keep on mixing to make sure everything is mixed in well. So now that my mix is all smooth and ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and get my pan ready. Okay, so now that we have our mix ready, we're going to get our brownie pan ready. So you're going to want to take some type of cooking spray. I have canola oil spray, just as fine. I'm going to shake it up, and I'm going to spray out here each little section that I'm going to put our brownie mix in. Now you want to use some cooking spray because you don't want your brownie mix or any mix that you're using to stick to the pan. That's going to let it burn a little bit more than you want it to, and it's going to stick into the pan. You won't get all of the good brownie stuff. So now that we've sprayed it, it's time to pour it. Okay, so when I fill my brownie pan, I like to take my spoon, put a little bit in it, and then fill up a section about halfway. When you fill it up halfway, it gives it room to rise when the brownie mix is cooking in the oven. You don't want to overfill it because then it's going to overflow and it's going to be hard to, stay together. So let's go ahead and fill the rest of them. Put everything in. So now we are ready to put it in the oven. Okay, so I have my oven mitt. The oven is ready. Let's go ahead and put the brownie mix in. So I'm going to grab the pan with 2 hands. Now this is very important. Make sure you always hold this oven mitt. Use your oven mitt to hold the pan. Use your free hand to open the oven. Now kids, let your parents do this. This is very dangerous. You could burn yourself and it can really hurt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the oven. I'm going to put it on the top rack and I'll show you. So I'm going to put it in very carefully. And it's okay if your finger gets stuck a little bit, just make sure your parents are doing this. So I'm gonna push it in and I'm gonna close it. So I'm gonna let the pan sit in there for about 15 minutes. So while I wait, I'm gonna have a little fun. Okay, so the oven just beeped, so let's check in on the brownies. As you can see, they're a little bit raised, so I'm gonna take them out and test them. So kids, let your parents do this part as well, because you don't wanna burn yourself. Okay, so the way I like to test them is I'll take a toothpick. If you don't have a toothpick, a fork is fine, just be very careful. Is I like to take my toothpick and I'll stick it in the middle of the brownie mix. Now what you're looking for is to see if it leaves any bit of fudgy-like, soupy-like content on it, which means it's not completely done. So if it looks like this, it means it's not really ready yet. So I'm gonna put my brownie mix back into the oven for about 5 more minutes and see if that helps any. Okay, so now my brownies are done and I'm gonna let them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, let them cool off a little bit, and then I get to eat them. Yay! Mally, are you excited? She's not very excited. All right, they are done. So I am about to sit outside for a minute and enjoy it. Yum. Thank you for watching. Go Hawks.